Kog'Maw, Lu, and Orianna. In order, Blaze picking up Sona, Jace, Diana, Vayne, and Olaf. Very similar to what they had game number 1. Many of the members still present, the majority still there. Frost grabbing up Aurelia, Ezreal, Skarner, Zyra, and Anivia. Staying comfortable with the Skarner pick there.
Yeah, so both teams kind of similar picks. I mean, it's very similar. The switch on Jace coming in. Aurelia did give them that really nice tanking capability, so it's going to be an interesting swap for them. They won't have that same backline initiation, but Jace, now they don't have to worry about the poke onto Vayne, and Jace can wear them down as well. And then Jace has enough damage that he threatens Frost, so Frost is going to have to worry about that. But we'll have to see how it's going to work. Rapid Star and Anivia, we've seen him play it in the past, and Anivia is just such a strong champion overall, and her ability to control the front line. So Anivia plus Zyra, that's a really common combo, having that mid and support, because they completely shut down. They can completely control fights and completely control the front line of fights. So it's a very safe lineup, and then Skarner can also get pickoffs. So they can try and control the fights and maybe even pick off Vayne in this game. That's going to be the key for Frost. This is
the champion synergy that is that we talked about game number 1 is so prevalent in the Korean scene, in the Korean meta. Even you look at Blaze. Now now we see that how the Jace has switched hands, but there's so much poke now on Blaze. Jace, Diana, axes from Olaf, Q's coming in from Sona. That's quite annoying.
Yeah, it is going to be really dangerous for Frost, but already you see really great ward coverage, and I think it's interesting. Azubu Frost, while they're coming in for that blue steal, Azubu Blaze, they didn't go for any steal. They were considering maybe coming up on the blue side, but they dropped a ward on their red, and now you see it, and it's like, okay, that ward's not really doing anything, but it protected their backside in case Azubu Frost was going for an invade through the red side, down through the river here. That ward on the red, it protected them, and so you see just constant ward coverage protecting them in all possible situations. They never allow themselves to get caught out of position, and that's really key to the strength of all these teams. But you see a swap going in once again. Frost this time swapping up to the top lane. So I don't know if they were expecting the Vayne swap, but they have it. So Vayne is still going to be matched up against Aurelia. That's going to be really dangerous for them. And in the meantime, they actually go for the blue steal. So Olaf, he gets the red, and he goes in for the blue steal once again.
And also got to note, this Sona escorting him over to the blue also just such an amazing, massive help. But this is dangerous for Aurelia. Only level 1. The wave is going to be pushed up to tower. Very early tower dive may potentially be happening here.
She's going to hit 2, though.
She is going to hit 2. She's going to have at least something else, possibly to stun and Blaze Surge combo there. And Olaf recognizes there's no opportunity. The wave just did not push up far enough, but you may still get a second chance. You may have hit 2, but you're not going to be hitting 3. Here comes the wave. Are we going to see it? Double buff Olaf coming on in. There is the flash. Condemn going down on Aurelia. Blade surges backwards. First blood. Going to go to Olaf. And Skarner now caught underneath his own tower. He came in just a tad too late. One more shot from Vayne. Just make it happen.
Oh, Vayne's going to go down to the tower.
No. Well, Vayne.
Oh, it's executed.
It was executed by the tower.
That is huge.
That is the best case scenario. And you know what? It may be a double buff on Sona, but hey, at least Skarner didn't hold on to it.
Yeah, but Blaze, really nice job there with the pressure, and Olaf's very strong at tower dives. They recognize they're all going to hit level 3 when Vayne's still level 2.
Is that tower going to go down?
That's a great opportunity. They are going to take it.
Holy crap!
They're taking a 4-minute bot turret. So already a 2K gold advantage in the first 4 minutes of the game for Blaze. The key is keeping up the pressure, and it's really interesting because they have great ward coverage already. They have the ward over by the blue. And that's going to allow them to push up to the second turret. A lot of times you don't want to take that bot turret
how's
quite
that
so
red
early.
buff on
They might
Sonafield?
actually go in for that. Wow, the quick damage on Aurelia. Aurelia can't even lane against them. Shy is in such a terrible situation.
Red buff Sona OP, man.
And
it's
then
too
Vayne
much.
swaps top. Vayne swaps top, and they're going to do another lane swap. But they're still pushing on this second turret. They want to just make sure Aurelia has no opportunity to farm. But the key for that bot turret, when you take down that bot turret, sometimes it could deny farm from your bot lane because the lane pushes away and you have no means of resetting the lane to safety. But if you have the ward coverage, if you have a gold lead, then it doesn't matter. You can push up to the second turret, and that's what they're doing. And that's actually something I know CLG, they've said they struggled with. They've tried the aggressive pushing tactics where you take the early turrets for the early gold lead, but they weren't quite sure with how to continue that lead. And that's something that these teams are very accustomed to. They're very strong at continuing to pressure that lead, and that's going to be the key for this game.
Now, what I'm wondering, we see Sona actually making her way up to the top lane, so we actually have a 3-man push from Blaze to take the top tier 1. What I'm wondering is where Olaf is going, because he could circle around back over to the mid, try something over on Anivia, or he can actually join the rest of the team, making a 4-man push here for Blaze in top. He's actually going for the invade, going to be seeing Skarner go for those wraiths. Ward going down, wants to make sure they have vision there, and I think that's just continuing to set the framework for these continued pushes, for these aggressive tower kills.
And Anivia at this point in the game can't put any pressure on the other lanes.
Oh man, top lane.
So really can't back off, and you see all the pressure they have. Olaf's coming around the backside. Israel's in a really dangerous spot. He flashes and Arcane Shifts to get out of there, but they're going to take another turret. This top turret, the next wave that comes down, it should be enough to take it down because they have 4 men pushing it. So that's incredibly aggressive from Blaze. This is not something that we see a lot to take, you know, multiple turrets in the first 6 minutes of the game.
This is unreal.
So they just continue the push. And Jace, you saw the poke that he had. Once he hit level 5, he was able to wear down Ezreal. And one key thing to that is really strong Jace mechanics. Keeping the acceleration gate near his body, it gives them less time to react. When you throw off the skill shot, it makes it more difficult to hit, but having less time to react, Ezreal's not able to avoid it, and Jace is able to wear them down, and they weren't high enough health to be able to defend that turret. So 2k gold advantage still, but 2 turrets down for Frost right now. And Blaze, even though their farm's a little bit lower, you see, you know, Vayne's slightly behind Ezreal from moving around. You see Jace is slightly behind Aurelia. Those turrets and those early kills are giving them a huge advantage, and it seems they're all grouping. They're coming right for this dragon, so they're just going one by one, picking off objectives. This is a pure objective-oriented game. That's really exciting to see. It's it takes less priority for team fights. It de-emphasizes team fights, and the team gold that they get is really going to just skyrocket them through this early portion of the game.
And it's also just a big shock to any team, because most teams are more accustomed to having the laning phase continue to the 10-minute mark, to the 15-minute mark. Okay, cool. When is the lane phase over? 4 minutes. You know, good luck.
This is actually really resemblant of Season 1 of OGN, when Azubu, Blaze, and Frost met in the championship. And Season 2, Frost were the victors. They were able to take home that win. But, I'm sorry, Season 1,
Blaze won.
Blaze won.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm
sorry. Season 1 Blaze, Season 2 Frost.
Season 1, Blaze won, and this is really resemblant of that Season 1 finals between Blaze and Frost. Season 2, Frost were the winners, but Season 1, Blaze, they had a 15-minute push. They were able to take down all of the outer turrets. They had Diana that game. They were also using Wukong as their top laner, but it's a similar pushing strategy. In that game, Frost looked like they were out of their element. They didn't know how to deal with it because Blaze was just constantly roaming around the map, taking objective after objective, and they were able to get an inhibitor in 15 minutes in. And that was the Season 1 championship, how Blaze beat Frost. And that's exactly what this looks like to me. But we'll see how Frost has adjusted since then, you know, how they've learned to deal with that kind of aggressive push, because they're pushing themselves. So if they can try and counter that out some.
And that was months and months and months ago. This was actually recorded last week, and they're still now having difficulty trying to counter out this strat. And that's if Blaze actually makes it, I'm wondering how the rest of the world would actually deal with something like this. It's kind of frightening even.
Yeah, and you have to imagine the strat's only gotten stronger with Jace, with his pushing potential and also his poke potential. It's very strong. Wukong, in that strategy, he gave them the early edge, where Wukong would just instantly win team fights throughout the mid-game. And that's something that I think a lot of people have forgotten, how strong Wukong is in team fights, because he's not the best laner. He loses the lane harass battle to most champions, and he also he can pick up kills very easily with ganks, but he's not the best laner, and then he does fall off later in the game. But throughout the mid-game, Wukong can win you every single team fight. So that was what they used. This time they're using that Jace pick, and it is a very similar strategy. But I mean, it's just aggressive pushing. Frost, they're all grouping mid. That's actually resulting in Ezreal falling behind, a little bit behind in farm. He's still ahead of Vayne, but because Ezreal's sitting mid with the rest of his team, it's giving Vayne an opportunity to sit up top, just farm up a little bit, and make sure that Vayne has enough items in order to deal with Frost as the game progresses.
Yeah, and as we talked about game number 1, Vayne doesn't need a whole lot, but it helps if you don't get caught. Olaf with the Oracles. We saw him lose
Vayne's
the Oracles.
Down.
Early Oracles game number 1, does not want to lose again, does force out the ult. But yep, Vayne's in a bad spot. Skarner and Ez, level 6, could get the ultimate down. There it is. damage from Ezreal. This should be enough, but it's just trying to close the gap, get to your teammate, flash over the wall.
Right into the
nice
snare.
vines from Zyra. Olaf, though, cannot help. Cannot get her out of there.
It almost looked like Vayne might be able to get out of there, but the snare, right, anticipating
so
the
good.
flash, was a really nice job by them. They are pushing down the mid lane, though. Rapid Star, he does have the blue buff, so he's going to be able to hold off pretty easily, but the cannon minion's there. And that means that Anivia is not going to be able to clear the wave as quickly as she would like. You see Olaf's also coming down. They're going to try and pressure this, but the Zyra and Anivia combo, having that wave clearing, they're just able to take it down real quick. So that's awesome for Frost. That's really going to allow them to stop pushes and just slow this game down a bit, not allow Blaze to continue to snowball. But it's still a 2K gold advantage, and Blaze is still in the driver's seat. And that the early pressure that the gold lead gives them, it means that, Vayne should be safe to farm. So having that early gold lead, Frost can't really put into their minds right now, let's, shut down Vayne. So they really can't be thinking about shutting down Vayne right now. They just have to be thinking about not allowing Blaze to continue to bully them around. And that's going to allow Vayne to just power farm in this game.
Now, this is odd. Vayne normally would be rushing the Zeal. You'd actually get the gloves.
Yeah, I did notice that.
With the dagger to try and finish the Zeal, but instead picking up a second dagger for more attack speed to already go with the one you already had and with the boots. This is unusual, to say the least.
And there is a second dagger in that Phantom Dancer.
There's true.
Skipping out on the crit damage, so, not going to get the Zeal as quickly as Vayne could, and skipping the crit damage. But that attack speed, it's going to proc her passive more, quickly, so that's going to be huge.
Right.
But it also is really great for tower pushing. So, it's an interesting build that we haven't seen before, but just prioritizing that attack speed for that passive proc.
But why usually one of the big main reasons though to actually finish off the Zeal is to get something that neither of the items to build it get you individually, and that is the extra movement speed boost, which can be huge. And we saw game number 1, Vayne getting caught. We just saw now top lane Vayne getting caught. And if you're with the rest of if you're with the rest of your team, you're being focused down. You need that movement. You need to be able to get out of those bad situations. So if Frost gets aggressive, if they focus Vayne down, if they have a huge initiation going into a team fight here going into the mid game, that could hurt.
Yeah, it definitely could, but it's not going to be that much of a timing window because Zeal isn't really that expensive. So Vayne's only like 500 gold off of being able to get it. But you see right there, Frost taking advantage of Vayne and Jace being out of position. They're trying to farm, so not necessarily out of position, but Frost does a really nice job of taking that mid turret, and that's kind of something we saw it last game as well. So Blaze takes the top turret down, takes the bot turret down. Frost was able to take the mid turret and try and even up the game some. So we'll see if Frost can continue that momentum swing.
So let's see, Anivia doubling on back, grabbing the blue. Gonna be needing that for that continued wave clear. It's gonna be very important. You need to keep that ultimate up. But while Blaze was trying for that steal, you get those vines go down Olaf. The wall keeping him further behind. Flash Frost getting the stun on down, but there is Sona with the ultimate. Tons of damage. Zyra ult not getting anybody, but Olaf is still on the back line. He's ignited, and here comes Jace looking to save the day. The ignite still ticking on the back line of Azubu Frost, but there's Skarner with the ultimate. Jace going to be going down, but Skarner going down with him.
Diana with the pickoff, grabbing Skarner there, but Jace missing his hammer swing. He was trying to grab Aurelia, but everyone is clumped together, and there you saw the AoE for Azubu Frost instantly won it. Rapid Star, he gets the wall off. There's the quick damage, the Flash Frost as well, and so Sona is going to go down, and now they can come down, grab this dragon, but the previous fight, you saw the Zyra massive AoE in the river. It completely shut down Blaze because they had to just scatter. They had to get out of there quickly. And now Vayne trying to tease in on him. Olaf's actually coming down the top side. They might want to try and steal this.
Blaze knows that if they allowed him to have the dragon, pretty much everything they've worked for the first 50 minutes of this game is blown. And that is the risk when you go for aggressive objective Blaze play like this, when you grab those early towers. If you let go a few kills and or a dragon, if that lead comes back to you, if the game returns back to even, that's pretty much it. You may very well be done. But with the pressure from Vayne and from Olaf, they do force Frost away, are able to pick it up, and able to contain their lead back up to 2K.
And that's wild for Frost to be able to win a fight like that, but then still lose the dragon. So, you know, really nice play, and you know they had the Olaf advantage. Frost recognized, okay, they're going to be able to just slow us down. They're not going to necessarily full-on fight us, but if we do go for this dragon, then Olaf's going to have the easy steal. So they had to just back off. They weren't able to kill it quite quickly enough, and so it was a really great job from Blaze. They're able to hold on to their 3K gold lead even with losing a fight. So that's key, and I don't know, they're just very strong right now. Olaf has the Oracles as well. Oracles on Zyra, so that's going to help counter out some of the map control that Azubu Blaze is going to try and press now. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's a very even matchup. Blaze has an early lead right now, but the AoE, massive AoE from Zyra and Anivia can completely shut down Vayne. Same thing with the backline initiation from Aurelia. That's going to be really dangerous.
Let's take a quick look at the items. Let's get another update there. Aurelia looking for that Wit's End first. You also got Anivia looking for the Athenes, had that Chalice earlier, also has the Catalyst. There's nice Impale down on to Sona. The Vines keeping her behind once again. The Sona on Blaze gets caught out from the rest of the team. That's twice that's happened already, twice in a row even. And this is just giving free gold back to Frost, and this is that Blaze cannot be doing that at this point.
And that's what the lack of wards, you know, results in. Having those oracles for both teams, it gives Frost those pick-off opportunities with Skarner, where they can get those quick kills, and it's really difficult to defend against that. And now you see Frost able to take down this top turret, so pulling back, they're able to get a little bit of a gold advantage here, or at least pull back in. Jace does try and defend this. The tower is still hitting off of Ezreal, and he is able to keep himself alive and back off some quick poke damage. And so he actually single-handedly defends that turret, so that was a really nice play. And in the meantime, Vayne is just farming in the bot side, and despite it was like a 20 CS advantage for Ezreal early on, Vayne's been moving back into it, and she does have the nice team gold. So Vayne does have a lead, I believe. No, they're dead even. So the team gold was enough to counter out the 2 kills that Ezreal has, and Vayne's starting to get into her build.
So you take a look at Diana, has the Abyssal along with those Doran's Rings and the Spell Pen boost, so quite a bit of magic pen on there. Of course, the only magic resist only bought for Azubu Frost is Anivia with that with the Chalice. Let's also take a quick look. Skarner, not quite at the Shirelias yet, has all the pieces, just needs to get the recipe. But he also has those Move 5 boots, which is, I mean, you see Move 5 boots on Skarner quite a bit, but usually in conjunction with the Oracles. But on Frost, Zyra actually has it. So he's at the very least, he's going to make for a very good police escort for Zyra when she's going around making those clears.
Yeah, he's going to help protect her some, and also the mobility will allow him for those quick initiations. But you're right, he does need to finish those Aurelias. Aurelia kind of caught off. Vayne and Olaf are here. They have the red buff. Vayne does have to watch out that Aurelia doesn't just pick up that kill. The Condemn, they should have enough damage here, but Aurelia's going to try and turn it around, see how much damage she can get.
True damage
central. It's not going to be enough. Vayne is able to take her down along with the help of Olaf, and that's a really nice advantage for them.
So much true damage. That's just absolutely boss. And that was a little bit unfortunate on Aurelia's end too, but considering how quick that tower went down earlier, Aurelia, she was also considered to be a little bit far behind, but actually has caught up and surpassed Jace. But the thing is, all of those deaths, 3 deaths, most deaths on the team for Frost right now, that is a lot of time not being spent in lane, not being spent with your team. Even if you're actually not getting those creep kills, just the runoff experience is something that does make a difference.
Just barely not able to get the steal. No, he did get the steal.
Oh.
Okay, so I wasn't sure. I saw the Diana blue. So Ezreal able to get the steal on the blue there. Really great awareness there, seeing the ward. So
Diana wanted another. She wanted seconds.
Yeah, and Diana not able to get him. So, Ezreal just smacking the hand at the table.
No.
Really nice job. But Blaze is just putting on so much pressure on Frost right now. Aurelia going for the Wit's End build, so that's definitely very strong, but not quite as tanky as Aurelia would like to be in team fights. Right. So it gives her the MR she needs. It's very strong in the 1v1 situations, so it might be that Aurelia is kind of expecting the game to last a little bit longer, that she maybe needs to duel with Diana some. But not having the HP that Trinity Force gives her is going to be kind of dangerous coming into fights.
And again, this is another point we brought up during game number 1. You're still going up against Olaf and Vayne. So much true damage. Armor doesn't help you. MR doesn't help you. Only health can. And yeah, that is a risk. going for that extra early MR, because it is also a very high damage item onto Aurelia. It's not too uncommon, but you need the health. You need the phage.
At the same time, they do know that they can hold off the game pretty easily with Zyra, with Anivia. Olaf meeting up with Aurelia in the bot side, but in the meantime, Vayne caught out of position. What can he do to get out of there? They're all coming down for him, see if he can escape, and it actually seems he's actually able to back out.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't go for a very aggressive ganking route. They knew that Jace and Olaf were top. They probably could have just gone in for the tower dive, but just deciding to kind of more casually go in for that, and weren't quite able to grab Vayne, so he's able to back out.
They're waving at her from across the street. It's like, oh, we'll come on over. We'll go grab some lunch, and she just bolted. It's like, no, thank you. I'm fine.
I'm on a diet. I just ate.
Like, I need to. I can't fit.
Oh, Vayne's going to 1v1 Ezreal, though, and right now, Vayne can beat any AD carry in the game. Ezreal forced to flash off, so really quick damage, and also having that red buff. The red buff did just disappear for Vayne, but really dangerous spot, and losing that flash on Ezreal is going to be pretty nasty in the upcoming fights.
But this is the point for Vayne, though, where you start to your damage output skyrockets, because now Vayne has finished that Phantom Dancer, has the extra attack speed and the movement speed, so she is now a massive threat to be dealt with. Meanwhile, you look at Ezreal, Phage, some Dorans, and that's it. The big damage is not coming from Ezreal. He's going for that Trinity Force build, and that's the risk you run. Your sustained damage is not as high as your burst. And Vayne, well, she has both, really.
Yeah, I mean, her damage is just so high, and that's something we talked about last game, how Vayne can take anyone at this point. Skarner trying to get on the backside, see who he could find, wasn't quite able to grab anyone, but they do back off, and it's going to be really difficult for Frost right now to shut down Vayne's farm. I don't know, we'll just kind of have to see how it works, but Blaze right now just in complete control of all the maps. They're completely dictating the tempo of the game, and it's 5-4, but it's still a 4K gold lead for Blaze right now, so really nice job pressuring the map.
It was a bit of a hairy spot for Frost, though. If they got poked out in that jungle, there was not going to be a whole lot of places to run to. But reuniting her in top lane with the Aurelia. You got the Skarner pull back down onto the Jace. He is going to melt absolutely.
And that's funny because you mentioned it. This game was played over a week ago.
Yes.
And that's the old Skarner. So the old Skarner getting the pull off after the animation. And that's a major nerf to Skarner not to be able to hit that. So, if you imagine now, new patch, that wouldn't have happened. Jace would have actually survived. Skarner, he probably would have used his ultimate sooner, but I think he was actually trying to time it, so he hit it with the Ezreal, or hit it with the flash. They are able to defend that turret, though, and Vayne's still pushing down the bot. Ezreal, it's going to clear that off, but really quick kill. I just think it's kind of interesting, the changes from patch to patch, how you can just so evidently see it.
Like, I'm scared to think how many matches, how many results would have been changed if that change was actually with Skarner since inception. Like it's a scary thought. It's a legitimately scary thought.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of pros are talking about. It's a really big change. Skarner is still going to be very strong. He provides a lot of map control, but that really could just completely impact how much play he sees and how strong he is in this game.
Meanwhile, 23 minutes we are now in. The kills are even. Blaze up 2 towers, and they're actually holding on to their 3K gold lead. It was threatened not too long ago, but Blaze did manage to actually come on back, extend the lead just a little bit further, and they're now really starting to itemize very well. We mentioned the Phantom Dancer on Vayne before, that huge damage. Now Sona with the Zeeks going to be helping out big time with the rest of the team. Nearly everybody, actually everyone. Everyone from Blaze benefits from that Zeeks so much. The extra attack speed on Diana is going to be helping out that burst immensely. Jace, huge. He's going to be continuing those shots from the back line. And, of course, Vayne and Olaf, they're still going to be running amok with that and all the extra lifesteal. It works so well with this team. And
there's another blue for Azubu Blaze, keeping it off of Anivia. That's absolutely key to shutting down Anivia. And it really, when they start to press fights, those long sustained fights, Anivia is going to start to struggle because she's going to run out of mana. So just continuing the map presence. But the gold lead, it's kind of diminishing a little bit. It's, not... I mean, it hasn't really shifted that much. It's still close to 4K, but Frost is not allowing that lead to grow at all, and they're just continuing to farm, which makes the lead less and less significant. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. There is the Chalice turned into the Unholy Grail for Anivius, that recognizing that they're just not, they have no control over their own jungle and won't be able to control those blues. Rapid Star does get a nice amount of mana regen.
Yeah, the longer the game goes on, gold becomes less and less important. Eventually to the point where you start hitting 45, 50 minutes where gold doesn't really matter. It's just whoever wins the next fight, it gets to that point. But remember, there is also that statistic about teams with the most gold past the 12-minute mark are usually the ones who win. And if we're going by that metric, then theoretically Blaze should still be able to eke it out. But we still have quite a while to go, and it seems that everyone's been kind of reverting to a strange passive game, just Jace chilling in top. You got Vayne free farming and down bot.
That was kind of the key to this game. We had talked about how the early gold lead for Blaze, it really just allowed them to stall Vayne into that late game. So they had a lot of pressure over the map. They could have potentially snowballed. So Blaze was looking for opportunities to snowball, but Frost has done a really nice job of not allowing Blaze to do exactly that. So the game has kind of stalled a little bit as a result. But having that early gold lead, it allows them to get their carries into really nice farm situations. And you look at Vayne. Vayne's farming pretty effectively. There's the pull. They were waiting in the bush, and Jace just walking right out into him.
Zyra ult going down on nearly everybody, but you also got the solo ult keeping just her occupied. But there's a 1-for-1 so far, but you still got both teams getting rather aggressive. Shirley's a delayed pop down on the Olaf. Ezreal on the back trying to get some damage in, but the double kill for Diana onto Zyra, caught in the bush, but she's waiting for her passive, does get the kill on the Olaf. So there's a quick 2-for-2 top lane. Meanwhile, down bot, you had Vayne looking to duel against the Anivia, but no deaths will be happening down there. But Vayne has been pushed out of bot lane. That's okay. We got creeps in mid. I can just farm those.
Yeah, so Vayne was farming, while that fight was going on up top, was farming down bot and trying to push the tower, and then Rapid Star just chasing her down. Wasn't quite able to grab it, so that's just the great mobility that Vayne has at this point in the game. But that top fight, it was a really great job from Azubu Frost catching them out of position. They were able to burst down Jace pretty quickly, but even so, you saw Ezreal doesn't have enough damage to take down the likes of Olaf and Diana. And that was the concern, and you'd mentioned it earlier, and that's always the concern with Ezreal when you go with that Triforce build. Triforce, it gives you a really strong early game. It makes you really dominant in lane, and then it also gives you a really strong mid game. You have great burst damage, but you don't have the sustained damage that you need to take down really tanky champions. And so the burst is going to work well with this team because they want to just pick off one person and burst them down. But the concern is in those longer fights, if Azubu Blaze has these really nasty tanks like Olaf and even Diana or Jace getting in the back line, and Ezreal just doesn't have the damage to take him down. So we'll see how quickly he can get into the rest of his build.
And even then, it was established in 4 minutes that the early game solely belonged to Blaze. So it could have been a little bit easier time to itemize differently. You got Scar going and get the pull down in the middle of the fight, but he will go down on his own. You got the Anivia ult blocking off the ramp, but Zyra is caught off on the outskirts. Can you actually get away? No, double kill for Vayne, getting rid of the Oracles. Very well done.
And they were able to easily control the back line. There was no initiation for Azubu Frost aside from the Skarner, and he actually pulled Diana, I believe. So, they weren't able to take anyone down, and not having that pressure on Vayne, they were able to just safely farm, and they didn't have the quick damage to take down some of these tanks. Now, you see Rapid Star, he's out of mana. He's very low, at least. The Chalice, it'll help him, give him some regen. But this very next wave, they could maybe take this, because Rapid Star is a little bit too low in order to defend this.
And not only that, I mean, Anivia is great at wave clear, but you need to get a little bit too close to comfort at times to actually get it down, and this is definitely one of those situations. A quick flash and a hammer swing from Jace could have actually egged and then followed up, with all the damage coming from Vayne and Olaf for the kill. So there's still a huge threat. Diana, top lane, looking to push that wave, and now Blaze. They were in a good spot earlier, but now in an even a better spot now. It's looking at a 6 to 7K gold lead actually now at this point, over on the 29th minute.
And not just that, they have a tanky team that we've already talked about, Frost struggling with taking down.
Yep.
But then they also have the Zeke's Herald on Sona. So not going with the Shirelius to give him that kiting potential, they kind of just recognize when Azubu Frost tries to force a fight, they'll probably just be happy with engaging it. So they don't need that same mobility. They already have some from Sona. And that Zeke's Herald, it when you already have a tanky team that has those long, protracted fights, Zeke's Herald just allows you to win those that much easier with the lifesteal and everything that it provides. That's going to be very strong. It seems they're forcing it, though. They see Anivia's out of position. They're able to force this. The Zyra ult does go off, though, but Vayne kind of in a dangerous spot, just now coming up with the team, can try and win this for them.
Delayed Sona ult still goes down, though, allowing for the kill onto Skarner. Zyra trapped in the brush. Double kill for the Vayne. Ezreal still in retreat. Anivia not with the team, not with the fight at this point.
Them.
Yeah, they couldn't. There's nothing that could have been done. Just Diana did her job. She went in. You got the pull. You can't leave. Easy breezy.
Beautiful cover, girl.
Beautiful. Absolutely
and
beautiful.
Then, yeah, they're able to pick up that fight. You know, Vayne wasn't with them initially, so it was they kind of had to worry about that. But you saw at this point in the game, all the rest of their bruisers and everything are just too strong for Azubu Frost to deal with. So Frost, they really need to be able to control that front line with Anivia, with Zyra, and just pick off one at a time. They can't allow Blaze to just get a full engage, because that's what Blaze wants. Blaze wants to just have everyone, you know, duking it out in one kind of mass, because that benefits their bruisers, that benefits their melee, strong melee champions. Frost needs to sit back, grab one person, maybe not even kill him, and then back off. Just retreat, and then, you know, continue to do it. Try and pick off one at a time. Yeah. So that's going to be key for them, to try and slow down those fights a little bit and take out Blaze.
And at this point, it doesn't even really matter who you take out. Even if you can, you've caught out Sona before. If you can catch her out again, that'd still be amazing. You take out her ultimate. You take out the Zeeks, which is now a huge part of this fight, a huge part of this team, because if you take out that Zeke's, the fight is not going to last as long, so that could still give Frost a chance. Doesn't matter who, just get somebody.
And you do see in the meantime, everyone kind of resetting mid for a second. It is a really nice gold lead for Blaze, but Jace getting the push off in the top lane. Bot lane is pushing for Frost, so Blaze will probably have to deal with that in a little bit, but they can start to pressure this Baron. They have a lot of damage for Baron. Vayne's really strong at taking it down. Olaf's very strong at tanking. You know, they have the shield from Diana as well, who also has a GA. So Diana just planning on diving into the back line. And Diana actually is a really strong champion at forcing a fight. So when, you know, Blaze wants to fight, they can try and get it. There's the snare. Jace getting pulled out of position, and he will go down fairly shortly.
That's what we're talking about. As long as you can catch someone out, you're in a good spot. And Frost grabbing the Jace kill means that they can now be a little bit more aggressive on the rest of the team. And they also see Vayne is now in the bot lane on her own. They can push out Blaze. Tell them to get out of here in the mid lane. They're going to have definitely a little bit easier time over the next minute or so. But eventually Jace does have to come back, so if they want to make some plays, then now's the time.
Yeah, the concern is with that Skarner ultimate down, they don't have that the best second initiation. So, you know, they have the one opportunity to grab someone, and then it's kind of difficult for them to go in a second time. Aurelia can, but it's not the same. It's just not the same.
It's just not the same, man.
But Blaze, you know, they're in a really great spot to just continue to pressure them. And I was saying, Diana is very strong at forcing a fight. And we talked about how Blaze, they want to be able to just force a fight with Frost. They don't want to allow Frost to control the front line with Anivia and Zyra and, you know, be safe. They want to just be able to get everyone right on top of the team and pressuring them. And Diana's great at that, because she can just dive in. You know, she has the pullback, and she just sets up the rest of Blaze. But because Diana wants to be so aggressive, going with that GA is really going to help her out a lot.
The GA, in addition to the Zhonya's, which is absolutely huge. It's like, well, oh, hey, I'm going to die. Nope, Zhonya's. Oh, hey, I'm going to die. Wait, I'm back. And in the middle of these fights, already having that much armor to go up against this team, so much resist, is absolutely huge to have. Plus, you also have the extra health coming in from that still leftover Doran's ring too. It's going to be quite amazing.
Blaze has them zoned off. They can actually go for this mid.
Oh,
so
man.
They're in a situation where they can force a fight with Frost, but they just back off for a second.
Yeah.
It looked like they might actually force that.
Yeah, this is a very similar. We saw that game number 1 too. It's like, hey, they're out of position. Might as well go for that push. But this time, Frost, they were a little bit more wise. They weren't as far away from the lane as they were last time. They weren't split off as much as they were last time, so they could actually re-engage, loop back around, and defend the push. But that does allow for that dragon.
And that's the key. You see how Blaze is manipulating Frost. They're manipulating Frost into the positions they want them to be. By rushing mid when Frost is out of position, Frost has 2 options. One, they can come in behind Blaze, and then it's going to be a fight. Like, if Frost comes in behind Blaze, they're going to be fighting, but they already know that Blaze is stronger. So Blaze is like, okay, we'll take that situation. The second is that Frost is forced off to the top side of the map through their jungle, and that opened up Blaze to very easily transition down for that dragon. And it's just that kind of manipulation that has allowed them to take objectives the entire game. And now getting the Baron, there's no defense from Frost.
They don't know.
And that's really just brutal for Blaze to have such a huge advantage, have that Baron. And it's going to be really difficult for Frost to defend against this next push.
And Jace, he's going to enter top lane. Frost is going to see him, and they're like, damn, we had no coverage at Baron. Kind of egg on our face moment right there. And now for the next 4 minutes, it is defense mode for Frost while that Baron buff is still active. Everyone from Blaze going on back, spending their well-earned earnings. You got the Guardian Angel on Jace now. You have a QSS back onto Vayne. Everyone's taking up. Everyone's got their defensive shields. This is a very tanky team.
And I don't even know if Frost could have defended that Baron. They're at such a disadvantage right now, and it would have been tough. Like if they defend against the Baron, then Blaze has enough chasing potential that they would be able to chase them all the way back to the turrets, and it would be difficult for Frost to retreat. So Frost needs to leave themselves with retreating paths, and so I think that's partially why they didn't go for it. But Blaze again, bullying them around the map. I'm curious whether or not they might split one of their members though, because they're very strong. They could decide to just tower dive. Because they have a couple of high armor champions, but that could potentially open up Frost to a win, because Frost could just split them in half with the Anivia wall, and Frost is going to be able to stall. So you do see Diana split pushing. There's the wall off trying to take her down, but she gets out very quickly, and that's going to result in this mid turret going down for Frost. So Blaze using the split push to prevent Anivia from stalling.
It's plenty of time killed. Ezreal's not going to be enough, and the tower's already down, but you have the vines from Zyra ultimate going down, getting 2 members of Blaze. Ezreal shifts out. He needs to go home. He wants to go home, but he will not be allowed. Skarner going to be going down next, and Zyra cannot leave either. And Anivia ult trying to keep everyone slowed. Stanson on the outskirts. Aurelia's like, F this, I need to go heal. Inhibitor in mid, now down. Not a single member of Blaze has died. You did have 1 Guardian Angel proc on Jace, but that's why it's there for. You need that extra life. Diana with the Q, looking for more damage, wants to get the leap in, but one Nexus turret is down. There is the pull back on the rest of Frost. Can they leave this situation? No, you have the egg from Anivia. That is the ace, and that is it. That is the game. Azubu Blaze gonna be beating Azubu Frost, second best team in the world, their sibling team, and now gonna be going to the grand finals of IPL5 Korean qualifiers against Najin Shield.
And you saw both games, Azubu Blaze in a lot of control. The second game in particular, they were in control the entire game against Azubu Frost.